I've been getting a few more comments from people that seem a little heartbroken that we can't keep the cyanotype at this color. And I just want to talk about that a little bit. So this stage, the cyanotype is in this lime green color. That's essentially like its most vulnerable, it's most light sensitive. This has not been exposed to UV rays yet, and it has not oxidized yet. So this really nice limey green color, it's just something you can never have. Some people really hate when I take the flowers off. So if you're one of those people, I suggest maybe you find a flower pressing video, because that's not what I'm doing. So I'm not in the business of preserving the actual flower. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. Other people do, and that's awesome. I make cyanotypes, which is a photographic process. This greenish color is essentially like your film before it's been exposed. So you don't get to see your film before it's exposed if you even understand how film works. This is a very fleeting moment, and maybe that's why we like it so much. This is freshly painted chemistry. It will continue to oxidize and like turn a darker indigo color over time naturally. The botanical matter, the flowers, whatever you are putting on top of your cyanotype, that's essentially your negative. So I'm making a picture of this flower, and the result is going to be a negative because I have a positive going on a photographic background. I press it under glass so that I can get the utmost detail. That's just how cyanotype works. The pressure increases the detail because there's no movement. It just holds everything in place. If you have a heavier object that's heavier than a flower, like a piece of glass or something, you wouldn't need to put glass on top of that. It's the weight to hold everything down so that it's held in place. If you've ever done darkroom photography or anything, you can't move your negative around while you're printing. It will be blurry. So that's exactly why we're using the glass here, to hold it in place. Essentially, this glass press is one big negative carrier. So it's holding everything so that I can get the crispest image on the cyanotype. And I totally agree. This is a really like beautiful color. However, it is not stable at this stage. This circle, the oval background, it will continue to expose. Even when I'm making these compositions, I'm in like an open garage. So there is UV light. If I left it out there longer, like an hour, it would continue to develop and continue to expose. Sometimes, even if I'm doing like my bigger compositions, I'll lift off some of the flowers and there'll be like a little bit of a shadow. So it is actively being exposed right now in the open light. A lot of people ask me, they say, oh, it's really hard for me because I have to do this in complete darkness. No, you don't. So cyanotype is only sensitive to UV light. Even in your house, most of your lights in your home, unless you have, a hydroponic garden or something, all of the lights in your home are non-UV. You just need to be away from a window. My exposure times are 11 minutes in the summer, in like the hottest, brightest days of the summer. I've been trying to print a little bit in October and my exposure times are 50 minutes. So just like think of how, and that's in direct sunlight, like that's me like chasing the sun and trying to be in the brightest spot. So just imagine how long it would take to expose something like this from like the window light in your kitchen. It would take a long time. Cyanotype's really great because the exposure times take so long, you don't need a dark room, and you really don't need any special equipment if you have access to the sunlight. You can get a UV light and solar print that way, but I like the sun. I prefer to do it in the sun. That's just the way that I do it. Now this stage, also very beautiful stage. This is after the exposure. So you can see the chemistry, the background of the oval has turned this sort of gray, eerie, beautiful, steely color. And then the highlights, these bits that are going to wash away white, they're sort of this like teal. Sometimes they still have that like little bit of neon green to them. This is also gorgeous. It would be cool to keep it this way. This is still incredibly unstable. If you don't wash this, it will just continue to expose and then you'll have nothing. So if you are seeing cyanotype videos and you're like, why did you just stop? it will just fade away if I don't do the final process of the wash. This is after the final wash and after a splash of hydrogen peroxide. The hydrogen peroxide is not mandatory. It doesn't chemically do anything to preserve the print or anything. The water wash is the fix. So again, if you've done any kind of darkroom photography, you know there are different stages in the development process, and the fix is the thing that will like firm up the chemical makeup of the negative or the photo paper to last, and so that it can then go out into the world of the living, of the light, and it can exist in UV light now. That's what this water wash does. You have to do the water wash. It's constant running water for me. I see some people just soak them in tubs. I find that if you're not doing running water, you get like chemistry that doesn't get fully washed out of the borders. So I like clean paper borders, and you want a pure white. So sometimes when you're in the washing stage, you're going to go through some stages of grief where you're going to watch the print change from that beautiful steely color. The whites, the highlights where we once had a little bit more detail, they get washed away. That's just part of the process. So if you're washing it and you feel like, oh, I'm losing so much like fine detail, maybe your exposure time wasn't long enough, but also it's kind of just part of the washing experience. This is the final result. This is fixed. This is able to exist in UV light. You can hang this in your home. This is an archival photographic process. That's another question I get a lot. It's like, well, what do I do now? I just have to like live with it in the dark? No, once you do the wash, it is a piece of art. You can hang it in your home and it's good to go. I have originals, then I photograph my originals out of very high resolution, and then I print reproduction prints for a more affordable, just like price point. I sell reproductions and I also sell originals on my website. I hope that helps if you are printing or you've been watching these videos and you're just like, why'd she do that? Now you know why. So yeah, happy printing.